And we're back. The team is looking down the barrel of a 4:55 meeting.
All right, are we all good? Everyone's good? Yes. This one's called Mass for the Rich. Fuck it up, baby.
What is up, everybody? What is up? How's it going? How's it going? Get some water up in here. There's more. LSUODYSSEY.com. You say that as well? LSUODYSSEY.com. He's trying to copy everything I say, I guess. LSUODYSSEY.com here. LSU versus Oklahoma preview prediction show here on Black Friday. Black Friday special. And you know what? Now we can change this to just the prediction and not starts and moments, because it is starting immediately. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? How's everybody feeling on this day after Thanksgiving? Are you feeling properly overstuffed, properly well fed? Are you feeling potentially a tad antisocial, ready for some football? I don't know. I didn't watch any of the NFL games except for I watched good snatches of what Malik did and what Makai did after the fact. But really, the NFL on Thanksgiving, usually they tend to be kind of bloated games. Nothing really too good. But thank God we have another slate of fantastic college football lined up. And it's the first time Oklahoma are coming to Death Valley in the SEC. What in the world? Yes, it is finally happening. After a few years that we knew this was going to go down, a few years kind of thinking about it. Wow, Oklahoma are going to join the SEC. Wow. They're going to, at some point, maybe play at Tiger State. How weird will that be? And here it is, right here, right now, in Tiger Stadium, against LSU, against the Oklahoma Sooners. Very strange. LSU, as you know, I mean, if you're a Tiger fan and you do not know this history, you're probably not a real Tiger fan. I don't want to be like rude, but you're probably not a real Tiger fan. If you don't know that LSU has basically owned Oklahoma in a national championship game, a photograph, which is right there, LaRon Landry, who was a freshman during that season, during that game. And then, of course, in that 2019 Joe Burrow game where LSU just completely throttled and dominated and absolutely destroyed a distraught Oklahoma team, just completely annihilated that team. Joe Burrow throws for 7 touchdowns, I believe runs for another. That was I think that was the most thoroughly entertaining domination of another team I've ever seen in my life. Like the way LSU went into that game, being really cocky, I was really worried about it. Okay. I was really worried, like, oh my God, these guys, they're saying they're going to blow up the score on them. They're going to, kick their ass. Patrick Queen saying, what? Like, guys, come on, take it down a tone. Like, we do not want to get our pants pulled down here. It was just so long since LSU had been in that position. You knew LSU had the swagger, but that game really showed me that LSU team had the most swagger of all. Because it's not just that they had the swagger to back it up and then, talk the talk and then did it. They were specific. And then they carried that out to a T. And just they didn't really even gloat or throw Oklahoma's face in it after the fact, which is what makes me like it even more. They're just like, you were kind of in the way. And it was Oklahoma fans had to have felt some kind of way for a long time. LSU have had some crushing, big-time defeats. the 21-0 national championship loss to Alabama. Only team to never score in a national title game. We've had those type of defeats, but just one. LSU usually get the job done 9 out of 10 times and fulfill destiny on the big stage in a playoff game or a playoff scenario, big game, big goal, big bowl scenario. Now against Oklahoma in 2024, they have a chance to continue that domination against Oklahoma, but it's really going to be a lot closer of a game. I would love for it to be an LSU devastation where LSU just completely, for 4 quarters, in the purple jerseys. Okay, it's going to be weird. LSU are going to be wearing the purple jerseys at home with the Sooners in white. Okay, it's going to look very weird. Don't change the channel. It's not Eastern Carolina University and playing Temple or whoever the hell, it is LSU versus Oklahoma, even though it doesn't look that way. That's how it should look right there. The photo we've got right there on the screen. But I get why traditionalists are annoyed by this. I'm not really as annoyed with the jerseys as much as I'm like, why are you doing this 7 times this season? Why didn't we just wear our normal jerseys most of the season and then like 4 games have a kind of like an alternate, a specialty thing? 4 games out of the season you wear purple or you wear the all white, something. But you don't go crazy and overboard. I understand why they did the gold. It's historical. Vanderbilt were such assholes back in the 90s. We had to make a special gold uniform just to be able to play the sons of bitches. They were going to do everything to make us wear purple. And at that point, we felt like that's a cursed color. No way. Like, LSU would not go back to the purple after a long time. Like, no. We're not going back to purple. DiNardo turned that page. Saban's carried it on. And ever since we've had national championships, we're not going back. We're not going back to the purples, And I have no problem with the purple. It's just when you wear it. I had no problem with us wearing it in the game against Wisconsin in the bowl game last year. I thought, it's the fucking ReliaQuest Bowl. It's okay. Just wear the purple, whatever. I'm not offended by it. I kind of like the cool, different, they're wearing a different jersey this time. It kind of adds some intrigue, makes the game a little more singular. Say, Spain versus the Netherlands, the 2010 World Cup final. Spain weren't playing in their traditional red. When you think of Spain's soccer team, you think of red, vibrant red. They're playing in these dark blue kits. I have the kit upstairs, an Iniesta version of that kit. And so it makes any images from that game, exactly what game that is. It's the Netherlands basically in a brawl for 120 minutes against Spain. You have the same thing in football. But with LSU, it's always been one color. I mean, not one color, but you know what I'm saying? One color scheme. Gold, white. It's gold pants, gold helmet, white jersey, purple, gold stripes. It's been very easy. And I'm not really someone who cares too much about this issue, but when it is a game like this where I want to see LSU beat the shit out of Oklahoma and continue to reassert that dominance over Oklahoma, even if we're going to have to go after low-hanging fruit as far as goals here at the end of this season, right? So, making sure that we shove Oklahoma's shit in, which is a shout-out to my guy Big Facts Big Facts times 3, who also hates Oklahoma like I do. It's a very necessary thing. You know, we've got to fulfill this goal and dominate Oklahoma, because there's not much else left to play for. There's nothing really to play for except for we can't let Oklahoma beat us, right? Yes, I understand. This is a team that just beat Alabama, and that's the thing. That's the thing. We're gonna absolutely preview this Oklahoma team, because here's the thing that really is interesting about Oklahoma. Jackson Arnold, okay, their quarterback, who leads their team as I think he's a redshirt freshman, right? He used to play for what's the name of that high school team? He used to play with Ryan Yates, Denton Guyer. He used to play at Denton Guyer in Texas alongside former LSU Tiger Ryan Yates. I got a soft spot for Jackson Arnold. He's an awesome kid. But really, it's up to LSU to make this kid throw the football. They just beat Alabama with Arnold throwing for 68 yards. Okay. This kid has rushed the ball over 20 times, at least twice this season, and at least has another game with like 18 rushes this year. Ever since they fired Seth Luttrell in October, their offensive coordinator, ever since Brent Venables fired Seth Luttrell in October, this is an offense that has been basically a pseudo triple option attack. They've been really on Jackson Arnold, riding Jackson Arnold as their kind of workhorse back. And it's been very interesting, because usually your quarterback is not your rusher, your main rusher, but that is what you're seeing from teams nowadays who go, why the hell not? If they can't stop it, who cares? And I understand. So it goes right at the heart of LSU's biggest weakness on defense, aside from, maybe in the passing game. But how do we feel about LSU stopping, Oklahoma on the ground, Jackson Arnold on the ground after the Vandy game? How do we feel about that? Because you could say Pavia was hurt. Pavia didn't have his ultimate explosion. And Pavia still went off on us for a 36-yarder on the ground. He still had like 60-something yards. He still threw a bomb over our heads. He really barely played, Diego Pavia. And he did not have that next level speed that maybe the injury was limiting from him, or just athletically he doesn't have it. And Jackson Arnold doesn't really have that next level speed or anything either. He's not Jaden Daniels or something like that. But this kid is a crafty runner. And he will hurt this defense if this defense gives him spaces in that second level to run. They will call direct running plays. It's not going to be him scrambling. It's not going to be always this kid's a play extender. There's going to be a lot of called runs for Jackson Arnold. But at the same time, I think you're going to see Oklahoma get very, very nifty and interesting with this offense. I think they're going to ask Jackson Arnold to do more things with his arm against this defense. Because simply put, I would challenge my quarterback too if I was them. If I was Oklahoma, I'd be challenging my quarterback, saying, bro, you're too scared to throw against, Ashton Stamps, who's a sophomore, who's had struggles this season. He's had big plays too. He's 6th in the country in pass breakups. Ashton Stamps has shown some great coverage time to time, but he's also given up 3 touchdowns and 420 yards. So go throw a football on him. Attack those safeties with the ball over the top. But does he have the arm? I think you're going to see LSU secondary called upon to make a lot of tackles on Jackson Arnold in space. Some misses are going to be had up front, and LSU safeties, LSU's corners have to make the stop. And we're going to find out kind of who's ready to win a championship at LSU next season, or at least contend for one, and who isn't, and who never was. I think you're going to find out really quickly. But here's the thing. Brian Kelly has to put out a decent rotation in this game. There is nothing left to play for. The only thing worth playing for is to give other guys reps so that you have film for the entire offseason to study. You don't even know how Kylan Jackson really plays out there because we don't have the film on it. Yes, maybe you've got some spring film, some fall camp film that has obviously made you decide he's not worthy of playing on the field, Kylan Jackson, or Javian Tobiano, or a Deshaun Womack, or the list goes on and on and on. But some of these guys, it seems when they finally play for LSU, pop and dominate and kick some absolute ass. And it makes me wonder, why are we so slow to understand some of the personnel advantages that LSU have on their roster that we're not even looking at? Some of the talent that's already there that we're not even understanding is there. Is that a spin? Spinner. So I want to see guys being given an opportunity to play. I want to see, Javian Toviano out there as well as Sage Ryan. I want to see Jordan Gilbert maybe a little bit less, Major Burns a lot less. I want to see Jordan Allen out there. I want to see Kylan Jackson. I want to see guys who are actually going to have an opportunity to be at LSU next season. I want to see most of what they can do. And it's not just throw out any of these guys out there, just have them go against Oklahoma. I'm not saying that. Obviously, they have to be ready to play. Obviously, they have to be good enough. I get it. We know some of these guys are. And it's just like LSU have failed defensively and on offense as far as the receiving core, running back core as well. There's been a really bad rotation, a really big lack of understanding of the talent that's there. I mean, look, for example, Caleb Jackson. He looked like the next superstar running back at LSU. He only gets the ball when we run it right up the middle, and that's it. And then he gets taken out of the game. Are you trying to make a kid leave? Are you trying to disenfranchise and frustrate a kid? Because what else could explain this? It makes no sense. So LSU, Brian Kelly, his staff, I want to see them make perfect use of all these guys. And by perfect, I mean actually put them on the field, give them an opportunity to play, and we'll see what they've got. So then we can actually make an educated decision about who LSU should be taking forward and who LSU should be replacing in the portal. Because you would hate to go looking down the road and go, whoa, we let go of 3 or 4 guys who are All-Americans now at other teams and actually hurt us. Shit, what were we thinking? So you want, against Oklahoma, LSU have a chance here to finish this season with somewhat of a good feeling. Somewhat of a feeling of like, okay, we at least can still dominate Oklahoma. There's some things that never change. Like it's got to feel, because this is weird. I mean, I understand why people like Matt Moscona, why people like Jordy Collada, are pissed off about the uniforms. Sorry, buddy, I'm trying to open it. This thing is kind of weird. I get it, because LSU, it feels really alien. We're a soft team. We're a team that can't run the football. We're a team that passes the football better than we run, which is just not typical LSU. And I'm not complaining necessarily that we can finally pass the football. That's great, but it's just, where's the balance that we saw for so long at LSU? When LSU does well offensively in these seasons, it's always a balanced offense. 2013, 2018, 2019, you could even argue stretches of 2021. Just a lot of crazy numbers. Even Miles Brennan in 2020 put up some crazy numbers. What else? Of course, the Jaden Daniels era of 2023, one of the greatest offenses we've ever seen. There's been significant amounts of balance, and we've done it in a lot of different ways. LSU, 2007, another legitimate offense. 2011, an offense that put up a lot of points, a lot of yards. Why can't LSU figure it out in the season to season? And is it because LSU lose people to the NFL drafts like in the past? And now there's no excuse to that. It's also the portal as well that you're losing guys to. So you're losing guys to the portal or the draft. And it's just nonstop. Who can you retain? How can you retain your roster and keep it together? How much of LSU's roster is Kelly going to consider worth keeping together? I think you need to use this game to find out the answers to those questions. And I think finding out the answers to those questions might be even more significant and even more important than winning this game. I know that sounds crazy, because there's nothing more important than actually winning games, the vibe it generates among a program. Especially when you lose a game like to Oklahoma, the first time they've ever come to Tiger Stadium, and you lose to them, there would be nothing more embarrassing, right? It would be something that Brian Kelly would never be able to live down. You cannot lose this game is what I'm trying to say. But still, at the same time, if it literally revealed who your next, secondary starting safety tandem is, so now you realize, okay, the guys we go into the portal for in the safety department are now going to be kind of depth pieces. These are our guys. Oh my God, why didn't we play these guys the entire season? You're going to find out that there's going to be a gem here or there on this defense, on this offense, that LSU have been overlooking all season. Every year this happens at LSU, every season. And I really just hope Brian Kelly makes perfect use of the next two games, game against Oklahoma and then the bowl game, to really find out who he's got on this roster. Because this has not been fun. This has not been fun to watch LSU going down this slide, this spiral, this death spiral, really. And I mean, it looks like LSU are going to be finding some guys who are going to be able to stay, though. You've got news from LSUODYSSEY.COM that Colin Hurley, our true freshman quarterback out of Florida, in conversation with LSU Odyssey, told the publication that he's been locked in since the start. Now, unless he's a liar and then he goes somewhere else and transfers after this, I think we can take him at his word and think that he's going to be coming back for next season. Here's that article right here on LSUODYSSEY.com if you want to take a look at that. Colin Hurley talking to us. And then you also got DJ Pickett, you lost Bryce Underwood. You've got to keep the recruiting thing going, right? You've really got to hit on these recruits. You've really got to finish 2025 strong. You've lost Meadows. You've lost Underwood, of course, as we said just a second ago. And you're probably going to lose Jakeem Stewart, most likely. And our pick right now has been that he will be going to either USC or Ohio State. We don't really care at this point anymore, because it's just like, whatever, whoever's going to pay him more. Like, that's the answer to that question. Like, he's having interviews, meetings with people from Marvel, okay? This is a kid who doesn't really give a shit about football. Like, let's be real here. He's only played 10 high school games. I get it. He's probably a damn good talent. You don't want to see damn good talents leave the state of Louisiana. I understand that. But if you could go get David Hicks out of the transfer portal, DJ Hicks, and another guy for the same price, I know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's ridiculous. I think here's our article on that. Frank Wilson's quest for Jakeem Stewart. It really laid it out. All the hard work that Frank Wilson did for this kid to get him to reclassified and get him to transfer from not only Frank's alma mater, St. Augustine, but transfer to a New Orleans rival at Edna Carr. Imagine how many bad feelings and like, God damn you, Frank, what you're asking us to do this, take one of our best players and transfer him out. Like, what are you asking of us? And it's like, because Frank was going to get him to come to LSU, right? When we need him now, he's going to be a primetime project for the future. And if you're to believe Steve Wiltfong, and if you're to believe some of our sources who say it does not look good at this moment, they're not as extremely he's going to USC as Wiltfong's sources have been steadfast, or at least to the point that Wiltfong has felt he needed to make that prediction. Our sources have told us that we are really looking at a kid who he might be conflicted at times, but he's really kind of knows what he wants. And it's more about like, not stepping on toes, not upsetting people, not disrespecting people who've done things for him, but he wants superstardom. Jakeem Thanos Stewart. And you know what? I good on you, kid. If you can get it, good on you. No problem with that. And coming out of the state of Louisiana, another great guy. I mean, think about it this way. He could be like the next Shaq, but a defensive lineman. There's no reason you can't do that at LSU, Jakeem. In fact, if you did it at LSU, it would be better for you and more profitable for you. It would be ridiculous how profitable for it. Have you even, Jakeem, you can get anyone to LSU's campus, to LSU Ops, to talk to our athletes. You can get anyone in any department of any, like, in any sector of life. You can get them all to LSU's campus to talk to our athletes, to do business with our athletes. So to turn that away for USC, Lincoln, all this rotating coaching staff, people are going to go away. Those meetings are going to go away if you can't get on the field and continue to like produce on the field. That's going to matter at some point too. So I really do predict that LSU are going to pull in DJ Pickett here. And I think it's absolutely a huge necessity that LSU do this. It is literally like our 2025 class hinges on DJ Pickett. You've had such huge aspirations to not only be the top 5 class for the 3rd straight year under Kelly, but also the number 1 class overall. For a long time, you've been able to do that. And now you are at 6 in the country, and it's not looking good at all. And DJ Pickett, we really predicted that LSU was going to get him in the end. And our sources have told us, like, you know what, at the end of the day, like, this is going to come to a last second thing, but this is kind of where he's led us. This is the kind of kid he is. And this is the type of parents he has, more importantly. And so we think that this is going to go to LSU's way, and he's going to keep his word. And it's not like he's turning away money. Pickett is going to get a ridiculous amount of money. When you find out how much money, you're going to be like, holy shit. Why was Miami ever an option? And it's home, you know, but LSU is home of DBU, baby. And so it's like this is a big game to find out who you need for the future, not only in the portal, but who you can go and try and flip here right before signing day. These games are really important to me in that respect. Maybe not the bowl game as much as this one, because there's going to be guys who are going to be already gone or in the portal by the time that bowl game comes around. I can tell you that right now. So it's very key that Brian Kelly gets a last feel for who he has. Did you say Brian Kelly? Yeah, Brian Kelly. Say, you're adorable. Brian Kelly. You want a cracker? Come here, bud. Yes, Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly. That's hilarious. He's saying Brian Kelly. That's hilarious. Sagey. You know, for me, the keys to this game are really simple. LSU, defensively, you need to make Jackson Arnold throw the football. You need to get them away from running him 20-plus times. You need to get him throwing 25 to 30-plus times. That's what you need. Probably not even that much, because then they're going to have the ball a little bit more, but like throwing at least 25 times in the game. That's what you need, not rushing 25 times. Get him in passing situations. He's young and inexperienced, like any young quarterback. He's going to make bad decisions throwing the football that much. That's why they run him this much, to protect him, protect the offense, control the game, and capitalize off of their great front seven. You know, and that's the thing. They're going to try and run it, and they're going to try and stop our run. And they're going to be able to stop our run. Our running game is the dead last running attack in the SEC. You can't hide from those numbers. We also have the 58th stopping rate in the country, while Oklahoma have the 12th rated stop rate in the country. So Oklahoma have done a better job at running the football and stopping the run than LSU have. But simply put, LSU have to throw the football to set up the run in this game, because Oklahoma have a god-awful, ghastly secondary. And LSU, if Aaron Anderson can really catapult himself into a fiery season next year, CJ Daniels has to finally get a touchdown or two this year. It's crazy he hasn't scored a touchdown yet in the entire season. We've got to get him on the board. You've got to feed these guys. Kyron Lacey, it's a last chance for him to really say, I'm worthy of being drafted in the top 3 rounds. Look at what I can do. I'm not just leading the SEC in touchdown catches, but I'm going to put my team on my back, and carry them over the line, make the catches, the toughest catches when it matters most, get both hands on the football, secure that thing. You're not dropping those third down passes like you did before. We've got to see that from Kyron Lacey tomorrow. We've got to see Mason Taylor fed. Mason Taylor does not have a 100-yard game in his LSU career. That is a travesty and a joke. He is LSU's greatest tight end. I mean, he hasn't broken every one of Dick Dixon's records yet, though. And so it is hard to say he's better than Richard Dixon, because let's face it, Dixon had 3 touchdown catches in a national championship. Like, he absolutely destroyed Ohio State in 2007 and still has the touchdown record because Mason Taylor still only has 4 career touchdowns at LSU. Just 4. Just 4. That's a joke. That's a joke. LSU absolutely have to feed Mason Taylor. Get him on the board again. Like, get this kid a few touchdowns. And that's the thing. LSU are going to have struggles against this Oklahoma defensive front. And so they're going to need to neutralize their effectiveness by short, quick passing game. Short, quick passing attack. Short, quick striking passing attack out to the edges. Get this defense to cover every fucking blade of grass. And then once you've spread them out and run them dry, then you gash them and burn them with Caleb Jackson, Caden Durham, all these guys, Josh Williams, who had a hell of a game, was the MVP last game. You have to do this. Sage, you want some grams? Here, let me see the bag of goldfish. He's like running away with a bag of goldfish. Want some chocolate grams? Oh my God, that's exactly what I was worried about. Here, take these. This little... Jesus, Seiji. Oh my God. Unbelievable. Waster of food. LSU face a monumental task if they cannot protect Garrett Nussmeier, if we cannot run the football off what we set up in the passing game, if we fall into, 2nd and 8, 3rd and 8, every drive, we're gonna be in a dangerous spot. When LSU are in 2nd and long, I fear the play call, I fear the execution, I fear what's coming next. And it's not because I'm a fearful fan or a fan that hates losing or a fan that's just a pussy, whatever. It's really like I've seen this script before. We're going to call something that really doesn't make sense and that really is not going to get us a few chunks of yards, get us something on the board. It's going to put us back against the on the 8 ball, I get it's not every day that Savion Jones is sending you messages. 1 second. That's a guy who likes his privacy, even though he's been very cool with us over the years, Savion. I'm going to tell him to kick Oklahoma's ass. Savion's another dude who he's out of eligibility. This is his final game as a Tiger. And I feel like he has really given everything. But it feels like he's still a junior, It feels like he's a senior. And then you think about it, and he has been here for a long time. And, of course, people are drunk. Blake Baker, my buddy, is asking me, have you heard about Eli Holstein rumblings? I've been hearing that for about a week now. Could Eli Holstein transfer here? Could Eli Holstein transfer? I mean, I've heard that from everyone from, like, Hannah Griff to, your newspaper salesman on the corner. I mean, everyone has literally said, could Eli Holstein come back here? Eli Holstein had a very difficult relationship with the LSU recruiting staff and current head coaching staff. I don't know if Austin Thomas can smooth all that over. Austin Thomas is going to be he's going to be a very busy cat, y'all. He had a very easy offseason this last year. Coming back here. Very easy breezy. Well, it's hell to pay, and he is going to be more involved than ever before for this team. And guess what? That's fantastic, because when Austin Thomas has been involved with LSU before, in shaping and building the teams before, guess what he does when he's involved, and guess what he does when he is there working to shape and build a roster. He gets damn good players to commit and become part of a damn good team. He has a track record of doing that. You can say whatever you want about the Ole Miss team, this recent one. He built and put that team together. It's the most talented Ole Miss team they've ever had in their program's history. One of the most talented teams in the country in 2024. Before that, he built, not with completely, but he played a good role in building that 2019 LSU team. He built one of the craziest, highest classes in Texas A&M history. Did that a few years. Put A&M on a far higher elevation than they were at previously. The guy goes and improves things, but not only improves things, but dramatic, quick results and quick turnarounds. And LSU need deliverance. Brian Kelly needs deliverance right now from this fucking storm. Right now. You lost 3 games in a row. You've lost 4 total. Will Campbell's quote in the background of 10 wins gets you fired. 10 wins at LSU gets you fired. 10 wins at LSU gets you fired. And then there's a 10-year contract, $100 million. 10-year contract, $100 million. 10 years gets you fired. 10 years gets you fired. You know, it's like a montage. And it's literally like 3 losses in a row, 3 losses in a row, 5 opening defeats in a row, all this swirling. How is Brian Kelly going to get out of it? How is Brian Kelly going to dig LSU out of this back into championship contention? Can he do it in 2025? Yes. But it's going to take a lot of work, and I'm telling you, though, it's already happening. LSU are already putting the wheels in motion, and that's what you needed to have happen. Not wait, 2 months to fire Matt House when you should have, gotten that guy already out. You waited so long to get rid of that guy. It cost us players. It cost us recruits. Cost us transfers. It's just, he finally had to act now. Like, you have to start coaching like it's 2025. You have to start prepping behind the scenes like it's 2025 now. And Brian Kelly's done just that, just as he should. It seems like the quarterback position has really solidified right now for next season. It looks to be Garrett Nussmeier, Colin Hurley, and probably AJ Swan returning if he returns. Then you would have those 3 as the quarterbacks, with Ricky Collins looking like he's probably going to be the guy to transfer. It's going to be Ricky Collins or Colin Hurley, or possibly even both transferring. But it's going to be one of those 2. Colin Hurley has told us he is going to return for next season. We can only take him at his word. And I think he deserves that, because that kid has only been nothing but loyal and nothing but awesome to LSU. And I absolutely will take him at his word because that kid's been great to us. And I absolutely think the world of Colin Hurley. And I hope he has nothing but amazing success at LSU because that kid loves LSU. And I hope he goes nowhere. Colin Hurley, Ricky Collins Jr., you've got Garrett Nussmeier coming back for a season where it's like that year 2. His dad wants him to come back for another season. Doug Nussmeier is of the opinion that he wants his son to come back for a second season. Second season starting. That would give Garrett so much experience as a football player to come back for that second season. But also, he doesn't have that green feeling of starting it. Like he would be really steeped in this is my team in the Nussmeier era going into that year. And such a like, okay, I've proven a lot already. I'm going to be drafted. Like now we got to put that cherry on top. Let's go for it. Let's go for it. Let's go for this. Let's go for the ultimate here, baby. And I think Garrett Nussmeier is going to do that. But here's the thing. CJ Daniels, Aaron Anderson, 2 pieces that you're going to come back with for next season. Fantastic. Tradez Green, fantastic piece. Probably going to lose Kamarian Pimpton in the transfer portal. We'll see about that, but he's one I would think is probably going to be gone. Chris Hilton Jr., question marks up in the air. He could come back, but it's just kind of up in the air. He does have that red shirt, but it's just up in the air with him. Mason Taylor, got to have him come back next season. And you got to have at least one of Emory Jones or Will Campbell. It's likely going to be Emory Jones, but man, if you could keep both of those guys. We feel that LSU tomorrow in this game, it's going to be a little bit of a bloodbath, a little bit of a defensive slog. 27-13, LSU are going to pull off the victory. LSU are going to pull off the win, 27-13. LSU are going to be able to force Jackson Arnold into some dangerous situations, get sacks, get TFLs, kind of stuff that running game, that slow developing running game with Whit Weeks. I think you're going to see a very good rejuvenated performance from Greg Penn III. A lot of these guys, they're playing for the NFL draft too. So they're going to be playing their asses off. There's a lot of these guys who are, this might be the last time they play football. Some of these seniors. So they're going for it. They're going for everything here. Unless John Emery Jr. comes back next season for LSU, this could be the final game for a national championship winning LSU Tiger of that 2019 team with Josh Williams. Because Josh Williams will be gone after this season, his final year of eligibility. And so unless John Emery Jr. comes back for a 7th season, which is possible, unless that happens, then LSU are going to be losing their final member of their 2019 team with Josh Williams tomorrow. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that could happen tomorrow that could be the final game of Will Campbell at home. The final game of Tiger Stadium of Will Campbell. Final game in Tiger Stadium of Garrett Dellinger, who's been a fantastic servant for the team and the program, and I hope he has a hell of an NFL career because the kid he's a great kid and he's a great player, great offensive lineman, and let's hope he picks up everything and becomes a full package in the NFL level. Miles Frazier, it seems, is also his last game of eligibility. And then there's just so many questions of who's going to transfer, who could leave this team. You know, like I've said before, you know, there's Ricky Collins Jr., Kamarion Pimpton, Caleb Jackson. There's a few other guys that it's just like, what, they're in a strange situation. Jordan Allen could be someone who could transfer because he's just not getting the playing time he really deserves. Although then, granted, I don't know the full extent of that injury because it seemed rather serious, and so I will not get into that. This could be the final game for Sage Ryan at LSU, and he has another year of eligibility. The final game at LSU for Chris Hilton Jr. He has one more red shirt, but will he hit the portal after Kelly's sideline outburst? I would doubt that. It's going to be an era of wild change coming up here. There's going to be some longtime Tigers we've been seeing over the last few years here. We've gotten really used to some of these guys. We're going to be gone. And it's going to be a very different team. Rebuilt in the image of the transfer portal and this ever-changing monetary landscape of NIL and all that. How will that affect the Tigers? This is a good group of kids. A good group of kids who are like really good people off the field, you know? And so that's one thing I'm really sad to see about a lot of these kids leaving is just a kid like Savion Jones. He's going, he's such a damn good kid, such a damn good person. An Emory Jones, a Will Campbell, like across the board, this is such a really good group of people, a good group of human beings. A Josh Williams, for Christ's sake. It's just such a great dynamic group of kids where it's like, I think we're going to see a lot of these kids do a lot of great things in their lives, not just on the football field. So I think you're going to be hearing from a lot of these characters for some time. And I'm excited about that part too, because this is a group of kids that we've seen go from kids to men now. We've covering them, the 2020, a lot of these 2021 class guys, a lot of the, 2022 class guys, a few in the 2020 here and there, but most in that 2021 and 2022. And so it's very crazy to see how this is all changing and how some of them are starting to finally move on and get to the NFL level or get to that decision, at least the decision mode where, what am I going to do? Am I going to go to the draft? Am I going to declare here? Or am I going to go to the portal? We've seen a lot of different crazy stuff. LSU are going to beat Oklahoma 27-13. I think you're going to see Brent Venables' defense be able to kind of swallow up some of what LSU wants to do, but he will not have the weapons in the secondary. Nussmeier is going to punish that secondary with his arm. LSU are going to win this game through the arm of Garrett Nussmeier. And you're going to see a good game from, I think, Caleb Jackson, Josh Williams are both going to get kind of the game ball for the running game. I think those two are going to balance each other and kind of dictate the running game, dictate the tempo on the ground. LSU are going to have more of the football. We're going to control the tempo for the second straight game, which is a good sign. And I think you're going to see Oklahoma, a lot of some of their really good front seven players just being completely neutralized by the quick strike passing game. That's kind of a prediction on my part of what LSU should do and what I would think they would do and will do. But as we have seen frequently this year, it tends to not really go down that way. And so I could see LSU doing completely the opposite game plan and getting themselves in a whole world of hurt early and getting into a shootout or something. Like, I could see that. But I can't see a game where Brent Venables' defense is going to allow us too many points. And so I think 27 points for a defensive front that is going to have it easy against the run. They're not going to have to stop our running attack or anything. We're not going to be able to run much on them. It's really more the passing game and making some gutty, big-time third down catches and hanging in there for the big hit, that kind of stuff. Death by 1,000 catches, death by 1,000 passes type of thing. I think that's what you're going to see. I think that's what you're going to see from LSU's offense. And really, if we had run this offense, passing the ball to set up the run, we probably would have had more success this year. Just have an identity. Just go into it full on. It was just, we tried we want to be able to run it down your throat at any point and control the line of scrimmage. And then we want to be a passing spread team. Like, what are you? And I think that has been some of Joe Sloan's issues this season. But I think you have Joe Sloan come back because he's worked with Nussmeier for already a season. I think it would be very stupid now to cut ties with Joe Sloan. Not only can he bring in any other quarterback from around the national, the national landscape, the local landscape as well. He's got all these tight relationships with all of them. He has now been the OC and the quarterback coach with Nussmeier. He's been the quarterback coach with Nussmeier for 3 years now. This will be his third year. And he's been literally his OC for a season already. I think it would really hurt a big opportunity. I mean, it shows a lot where if you can just keep a starting quarterback at LSU for 2 seasons, they tend to win a Heisman or tend to have tremendous success. That means a lot of something to me. It's not just lightning that was struck once. To me, that means that LSU has the ability here to bring a variety of different arms, a variety of different signal callers because of that Joe Sloan brain trust. It hasn't been good. It hasn't been all pretty. Joe Sloan has fucked up left, right, and center. He can get better, though. And I think it's really stupid to think that such a hell of a coach, a head coaching candidate, will just throw him out, run him out of town. Like, you don't even know who you're getting rid of. Like, don't come crying to me when we can't recruit quarterbacks anymore, That's really, truly how I feel. Like, oh, you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater? Okay, you're being stupid. Same thing with the Brad Davis whiners. Look at how Paul Mubenga had that development where he improved one game to another. Oh, yeah, but just get rid of Brad Davis. Oh, yeah? You also want to get rid of all the O-linemen he brings in, too? Like some of these fans, a little short-sighted. Anyway, LSU, I believe, going to win this thing 27-13. And I think you're going to have a really good game from Garrett Nussmeier. Second straight game, he really cleans that up from the horror show of that 3-game run. And LSU pick up, this would be our 8th win of the season. Yeah, 8th win of the season. God. Tari Love, thanks for all the hard work. Oh, hard work of what, man? I love doing this. This is I love to do this, man. This is an absolute passion. But thank you for that comment, my man. Tari Love, longtime listener, Thank you, brother. Thank you. Let's read. There's another one. Almost done, buddy. Almost done. Bruce Douglas II says, Lon just sent the notification. I'll be tuning in. Should Ricky Collins or Colin Hurley, misspelled, get in the game versus OU if it's a blowout? Oh, yeah. If it's a blowout, I think you owe it to Ricky Collins and Colin Hurley to give them both time. As much as that sucks that you want to kind of pick your guy and go with him, I think it would be screwed up to just not play Ricky. I think it'd be screwed up to not play Colin. But at the same time, it depends on where their red shirt thing is at. I'm not sure if Ricky Collins is like one appearance away from like breaking his red shirt or not. I'm not sure about that. Let's see. We got this sick hoodie. I think there shouldn't be so much negativity around LSU. I think we should be excited about what the future could bring, as long as Brian Kelly really starts to get to know his team, starts to get more open, more real with his team, more personal with his team. Not crying about it, all this whining. Oh, you crying? Come talk to me. Come have a camp. But like, don't shun them either. It's kind of weird. Don't act like you're above them. Get in the foxhole with them. Like, I think Brian Kelly has some things he needs to learn. After he's done this for 30 plus years, I get it. And he's done it a certain really arrogant way where he cuts throats and leaves a lot of bodies behind. Like, literally in one respect, I guess, sadly. I shouldn't have said that. That was terrible. Yeah, bad joke. God. But he, and that was not on him, I don't think. I mean, it was reckless that he was put him in the tower and didn't have him come down. But if I'm in that tower, I'm getting out of that situation and staying up there. So, but Brian Kelly, he has got to win to get himself out of this pickle. But not only that, now he's got to buy, and he has a mandate now. And he cannot strike out on these players. If he now goes and gets a lot of money and gets a lot of support, like he has had from these boosters, and they basically demanded, let us help you, damn it. Let's do this. Let's get in the bidding wars. Come on, let me show you how this is done, BK. Like, let's go. Like, if he goes after some big fish and we strike out consistently with these big names, these big targets we bring in, if these guys don't produce, Brian Kelly can't maximize these guys, and LSU still are in the same situation, 8 wins, 7 wins, 9 wins, it's not just going to be a hot seat anymore. It's going to be a flaming, fiery cauldron, and it's going to be not just hell to pay for Brian Kelly, but hell to pay for Scott Woodward for doing the 10-year contract. There's no one who can defend that 10-year contract. I've said it from the beginning. What the hell are we doing? What are we doing? And it's totally Brian Kelly's agent who sucked us into having to do that. The only way he'd leave Notre Dame was a 10-year, like, come on. And you had to get a coach, and you had to get a guy. And, Brian Kelly came in and was basically kind of like a hall monitor at LSU for the first year. Like, hey, no. You can't do that. Get out of here. No. Go to class. You're in trouble for this. We're bringing back the culture and the discipline here to LSU, and that's fine. Can he develop that? Can he take that? Shit. Just dropped the cup. Oh, fuck. Can he develop that into a winning ingredients, that's going to provide some type of championship contention year after year after year, consistent championship contention, consistent championships? Can Kelly do that? Can he do it at LSU? I don't know. But I think we're going to find out very soon if he's capable, because the moves he makes right now, from now, the moment this Oklahoma game ends, I'm telling you, the moment this Oklahoma game ends, you better get to LSUODYSSEY.com, because we're going to have some news. I'm just going to tease it now. We're going to have some news. There are going to be some moves made very quickly the second that game ends. That Sunday, this coming Sunday, is going to be a big news day. I'm going to be up beginning at 3 a.m., okay? I'm not going to go to sleep. We are going to be up and at 'em, baby, all that day, because we're probably going to be posting about 6-7 articles that day of news and probably doing a live show. That's how much is going to go down. And that's how much movement is going to be made within the LSU roster. And it might not just be Sunday. We're talking about the next week, the next week and a half, the next month. We're talking about the next 2 months of basically nonstop news marathon of where is LSU going in the future. Not just 2025 even. Moves about the entirety of the program. Moves that'll be made for the next few years of the program. Basically, who is Brian Kelly going to hire to put all of his faith in to make this finally happen? Because he did it with one group of people. He struck out big time. Brian Polian, big strikeout. Big strikeout. Robert Steeples, not completely his fault, but struck out. Kerry Cook's not completely his fault, but struck out. Struck out. So many defensive line coaches. So many friends. John Jancic, gone. Brian Polian, gone. He's lost so many friends from this staff. So many people from this staff before. And now, who can he rely on? Who is going to deliver for Brian Kelly? Brian Kelly has to deliver for Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly's in a situation where Frank Wilson can't win you a championship right now in this setup unless you give him the headset, okay? Unless you give him your headset, as much as you want to put the roster management, the recruiting, all of that in Frank Wilson's hands, he can't win you a championship, bro, alone. You've got to do this yourself, Brian Kelly. You are paid all this money. You have to make this happen yourself. It starts now. It starts with this game against Oklahoma. It starts with making moves like getting Zach Weeks reclassified and bringing him back alongside his brother West, and you're already plotting this like 2 months ago. Those are great signs to me. Those are signs to me that, hey, you know what? I think Brian Kelly is really, really thinking about the future here. And I know that there's been some concerns about how excited he is, how revved up he is to be, paying for players. And it's like, here's the thing, BK. Think about these players as if they're human beings, just like you. And they want to be paid what they think they're worth. And what do you think you're worth, Brian Kelly? You think you're worth $100 million. You think you're worth $10 million a year. So what are you who the fuck are you to say that these kids don't think they're worth close to that, So it's time to pay up. It's time to pay up. And I'm telling you, it's gonna be numbers that you don't. It's not gonna be Underwood numbers for every player, some crazy shit like that. Okay, LSU are not going into the void here, into the black hole of money. But what they're going to do is going to be very creative. It's going to be really smart. And from what I'm being told, they're partnering with some companies, the partnerships of which you are going to hear about soon. LSU are going to do these official announcements. I think when you hear about this, you're going to be like, this is starting to come together, I think. And we'll see. We'll see. It's all about who LSU identifies as targets, who LSU are able to go in and get, and relationships. Who has the relationships? Who's gonna fit in this locker room and not come in and obliterate it? That's what this is all about. So the dominoes will start to fall immediately after this game. Tune into LSUODYSSEY.com because we're going to have every single falling domino as it falls, as the reverberations come across the landscape of the LSU landscape, of the SEC landscape, of the complete college football landscape, the madness. Oh my God. One more week of the regular season. And then we're going to have the craziest postseason tournament in college football history, beginning for the first time ever. And it's sad LSU won't be a part of it. But it's going to be recommended highly viewing to see at least how this thing goes down. It's going to be some weird matchups, though. But everybody, have a good night. Our prediction, 27-13. Everyone have a good game tomorrow. Everyone definitely check out our coverage. Follow us on X at Lon Phillips. We live tweet during the game. We're posting the footage. We're posting all this crazy shit, all the weird stuff that you missed during games, all the weird stuff that you said, "Oh my God, where did that happen at? When did that play happen?" We've got it all on our right there on our Twitter, on X at Lon Phillips. Follow us there. Subscribe at LSUODYSSEY.com. We've got so many new subscribers. Thank you all for joining. It's been incredible how many new people there are. You're awesome. We really appreciate all of you. It's been insane. And we're going to be doing the full gauntlet tomorrow. So join us for that, for the Oklahoma game. Everybody, go Tigers, baby, and kick some ass. Happy Friday.